Hi there everyone, and I have an extremely beautiful chess game to show you. In this chess game we have Viktor Kupreichik with the white pieces, and his opponent was Mikhail Tal, the magician from Riga, the legend of the attacking chess. So Kupreichik was also a pretty amazing tactical attacking chess player himself. So let's see what happened in this chess game. Kupreichik had the white pieces, the Belarusian chess grandmaster, and the legend of the attacking chess, Mikhail Tal, the magician from Riga, had the black pieces. So this chess game was played in Sochi in Russia in 1970. So let's see what happened. Kupreichik starts the game with e4, and we have the Sicilian defense. So knight to c6, knight to c3, developing the pieces, and queen up, attacking the knight. Knight goes back, e6, bishop to e3, queen to c7, and then f4, a6, bishop to d3. Actually, this placing the bishop on c4 was the Fischer-Sozin attack. So b5, a3, bishop to e7, queen to f3, bishop to b7, and Kupreichik castled. Rook over, and then centralizing the rook. And also Mikhail Tal castled. Now queen to h3. You can see that the light square bishop and also the queen is aiming the king. So we have b4. But in this position, Kupreichik played an amazing move. Well, he played knight to d5, throwing the knight into the fire, sacrificing his piece, and this came out of the blue. Mikhail Tal accepted the sacrifice, but then this is attacking the knight, and black has a tempo after white has a tempo after defending the knight, bishop to d4. So you can see that actually all of the pieces of white function. Both of the bishop is aiming the king, the queen is eyeing the king as well. So white rook has the open file, and white also has a very flexible position. Kupreichik can also lift his rook up, both of the rooks, and you can see that even though he is a piece down, he has a very flexible, a pretty nice attacking position with lots of attacking opportunities. So black has to be careful. And in this position, the major threat is bishop takes knight, eliminating the defender, and then checkmating the king on h7. So Tal is defending, so Kupreichik is attacking Tal like Tal. Well, actually h6 is not a good move. Can you see why? Then bishop takes knight, and after capturing, queen to f5 and threatening checkmate, and how to defend if pushing the pawn, capturing the bishop. So this is a very difficult position to deal with. So we have bishop to d4 attacking the defender, and Tal is defending like this, and then lifting the rook up. So we have capturing the pawn. Basically Kupreichik also sacrificed a pawn, and he is a piece down. Attacking the rook, so defending the rook, and this move is also a tempo move. So attacking the bishop and doubling the rooks on the e file. So defending the bishop, and then queen to h4. So Kupreichik is also playing extremely brave, and he is not afraid of any discovery attacks to the queen. But we have knight from b to d7. Can you see what happens if moving the knight? It is white to move and win. Actually, white has an amazing tactic in this position. Basically, white is checkmating the black king by force, like this. And then check, sacrificing the queen, only move for the king, and then checkmate. And if something like this, it is the same story, actually. Sacrificing the queen, only move, and then checking the king. Black can block with the bishop only for prolonging the checkmate, and then rook goes up, checkmate. Also, the start diagonal is a weakness for Mikhail Tal. So in this position, we have knight from b to d7. And can you see what happens if knight to h5, by the way? Then boom, sacrificing the queen, opening the g file. You can see the dark square is controlled by the bishop, and then check, bishop to g5, rook takes on g5, checkmate. Simply amazing. So we have bishop to d8, and then queen to h4. Mikhail Tal's knight is tied down. He can't move the knight because of the idea of sacrificing the queen. Tal saw that in just 1 millisecond. Of course, he was also an amazing tactician. So this is why he played a prophylactic move, knight from b to d7. And then queen to h6. The queen is way too close to the king, and there is also weakness in the dark squares. Both of the bishops is aiming the king. The rooks are also very active. Kupreichik can also swing his rook to h3. So you can see that this is a pretty difficult position. So queen to b7, and then rook to g3, aiming the king. Knight to c5. Knight takes knight, pawn takes knight. And then look at this. Kupreichik is playing just like the magician from Riga, Mikhail Tal. He played f5. Look at this. Amazing against Tal. Sacrificing the bishop. He's sacrificing the second piece against Mikhail Tal. And Mikhail Tal accepted the sacrifice. But then f takes on g6. And pawn takes. But then sacrificing the third piece. Bishop takes on g6. Boom. And threatening some discovery attacks to the king, and then Mikhail Tal's king is going to be in big trouble. So we have escaping. If capturing the bishop, then rook takes, boom, and then checkmate. The rook is also cutting the escape square. This is checkmate. So this time Mikhail Tal, of course, can't accept the sacrifice, and white is 2 pieces down, but he has the attack, and this is a difficult position. So Tal played a desperate move, and then capturing the rook with check, and white has the exchange. So blocking with the knight, and then saving the bishop with attacking the rook, and this is also a tempo move, defending the rook, and then rook up. Can you see the threat? Very simple, of course. Tal is defending the checkmate threat. If some random move, queen takes knight, boom, and then rook takes, checkmate. Simply amazing. So we have rook to e8, queen to f7. Kupreichik played an amazing move, and after that move, Mikhail Tal resigned. Believe it or not. Rook to h3 by Kupreichik, and Tal shook his opponent's hand. He took his jacket and went to home. He resigned. Unbelievable. He made Tal taste his own medicine. Simply he played just like Mikhail Tal and defeated Tal in his style, with playing extremely aggressive like the magician from Riga. Of course, if queen takes bishop, queen takes queen, and threatening rook takes. So if queen takes queen, rook takes, checkmate, sacrificing the queen as well, and then checkmating the king. Amazing, isn't it? So we have queen to f7, and then rook to h3, and Tal resigned. And if this is black's best bet, queen to g7, and then rook takes and losing the queen, but this is unplayable. Queen to f5, check, forking the king and the bishop. Viktor Kupreichik, Viktor Korchnoi. Tal was not doing well against Victors, ain't he? Shoot. Well, for those who doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about, Viktor Korchnoi, of course, one of the greatest chess players of all times, who was also Mikhail Tal's arch nemesis. He was the most difficult opponent of Mikhail Tal, and he heavily defeated Tal in their lifetime, with beating Tal something like 20 times or something, and Tal has only managed to defeat Viktor the Terrible, one of the greatest chess players of all times, Viktor Korchnoi, for 2 or 3 times, and he was heavily defeated against Viktor Korchnoi, and this was another Viktor, but this was not Viktor Korchnoi, this was Viktor Kupreichik, but he defeated Tal in a humiliating way. So Tal was sometimes losing, of course, but of course Tal was the legendary player, but compared to Kupreichik, Tal was, of course, more important, as he was also world chess champion at one time, but this time he lost pretty badly. And I will try to find a chess game when Mikhail Tal took his revenge against Kupreichik. So Okay, thank you so much for watching. And what do you think about this amazing tactical attacking chess game? So do take care, stay safe, and bye bye.